Well, a new UK study has found that the average teen will have spent 6 months using their phone only by the age of 14.
Wow.
And that's around 135 minutes every single day.
Wow. But in an age where parents use devices as, you know, that bargaining chip, what are the do's and don'ts for using technology to control your kids' behaviour? And what should you do instead?
Yeah, this is great. I can't wait for this segment. For more, we're joined by Dr. Joanne Orlando from the Western Sydney University. Great to see you again, Joanne.
Hello.
Do these stats surprise you?
No, I don't think they surprise anyone. In fact, I think they're a bit modest. I think children can go on there a lot longer than a couple of hours a day. In my study, kids are going up to on their phone 9, 10 hours a day. Before school, after school.
Just constantly.
That's right, yeah.
Let's talk about young kids particularly. What are the harms of using technology as a sort of a reward system?
Yeah, and it's a really common strategy for parents with younger kids. So you reward their good behaviour. You know, if you're a good girl while we're out, when we get home, you can use my device more. Yeah. So the problem is kids start to associate being good with being on their device. So, OK, mum and dad are proud of me. I'm a good girl, so I get to use technology more. So they want to use it more and more because they want that association. When they're on there, mum and dad are proud of me. And it takes away the idea of using technology in a quality way, and it's about use then. And it's also thinking about those, you know, tactics we do to manage their screen time. Kids just want it more and more. They want that desire. They want to be able to be good for their parents.
OK, so that's the problem. What's the solution? Because at home, everyone's saying, well, what else am I meant to do?
Absolutely,
you're in the doctor's surgery and you just need your child to be quiet for a second so you give them the iPad.
That's right. We know it works well.
We know it works, right? So what are you doing
That's
instead?
right. You've got a 5-year-old, you're going to the doctor's surgery, you know you might be waiting an hour. So tap into other things that your child might be interested in, drawing or that kind of thing. But don't just give them a book and say, here, read this for an hour, because that's not going to work. It's always good to give them a purpose. So before you go, maybe give them a notebook. So when we're at the doctor's surgery, we can make this into a book. You know, a book about when we went to the zoo. So 10 pages, draw 10 animals, draw their food, draw their houses, draw the zookeeper. So you can see when you go there, then they've got a purpose. They're going to be busy making their book and you just check in with them every now and then. So if they've got that purpose with the things that you've brought, that works much better than just passing over the things.
Next time we go for lunch, we'll do the book. Let's move on to teens. What about the flip side of this, the dangers of using the technology but more as a punishment sort of concept?
Yeah, you've done wrong. I'm going to take the phone off you.
I know, and about 65-70% of parents do this. It's become a really common parenting strategy.
More than that in a percent.
Probably, yeah. But what I'm finding is in my study, I get to talk to parents, but I get to talk to the teenagers as well. So from a parent's point of view, you take their phone away, they complain, they have a reaction, you know it's working, you know, they're really complaining. But when I talk to teenagers about it, they tell me something different. They tell me quite a different perspective. So what they do is teenagers, their phone is the most important thing to them. So if you keep doing this as a parent, kids tell me that they actually just don't tell their parents very much anymore. They start to pull away because they don't want to risk having their phone taken away. Now that has lots of implications for the child's safety, for your parent-child relationship, for just devious behaviour as well. You know, we don't want to go down that path.
OK, I'm going to ask the same question. What do we do instead?
Yeah, you know, I was talking to a number of teenagers and one girl, 15-year-old girl, summed it up, and it's a bit confronting what she said. She said, you know, my mum and dad, doesn't matter what I do, they always just take my phone off me as punishment. She said they can't think of anything else to do, you know, they're just a bit lazy. And I thought, oh, it's quite confronting, but it's really important for us to hear that kind of thing. So it's about the punishment fits the crime. So if it's a technology-related incident, then yeah, taking their phone off them or restricting internet privileges might be an appropriate, punishment. But if they're coming home late, you know, continually coming home late, then the punishment needs to be about that. So it might be restricting how many times they go out or they have to come home earlier. So it gets them to think about that, because when we're taking their phone off them, all they're thinking about is whose phone can I use instead until I get my one back. OK,
we've all been at the restaurant and looked around and there's mum and dad and 2 kids and everyone's on their devices, right?
Yeah.
And parents have to be a better role model with this, and lots of people coming home from a day at work, office hours now go till midnight, everyone's on their phones taking emails. We have to teach them better. We have to show a better example.
Yeah, unfortunately our kids are watching us whatever we're doing,
right,
you know, young kids and teenagers. So a lot of parents walk around their house holding their phone. in their phone, phone in their pocket. So if you're talking to your child about screen time and you're always holding your phone, then that's a mixed communication. And also if you're talking to your child about being safe online, but at every red light you pull out your phone, you check your latest, updates, then that's a very powerful message. So it's that idea of double standards. If you're telling them one thing and you're doing something else, you just have to be really careful and really mindful of the sort of actions that you're displaying.
I think the most powerful thing you've said there is that the kids will shut down because they don't want the phone to be taken off them. And that makes sense, but we just kind of don't think about that, do we?
No, because with technology we get into these routines and we don't really realise it's happening, and then it's really important just to take a step back and think, OK, I keep giving the phone to my child or I keep taking it away. OK, it works now, but what is it actually, what's the message I'm sending them?
Do we need to say to our kids, I was watching telly today on the Kylie and Larry show, and this is what, do we say that to our teenagers?
I do.
Yeah, well, should we say, I'm going to go home to Gus and Arch and say, I learnt today that if I take your phones off, you're just not going to tell me things. Do I tell them that?
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to do, just to start the conversation, and I think you'll be surprised by what they say.
Yeah, or they could just Google it on their phone during dinner.
I'm going to let you know, I'm going to go home and tell them that and see what the reaction. And they'll go, great, she's not going to take the phone off us anymore. Winning. I can assure you that's what they'll say.
Lovely to see you. All right, thanks for that.
Thank you.
Very important.
I'm going to try it out.
Just give it a go. Let us know how you go.